Good morning. Good morning, Unity Church of Overland Park. I'm Reverend Jacquie Fernandez, and it is a great joy to be with you for our Sunday celebration today. We have a very special service celebrating Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. As you can see behind me, I have an ofrenda set up, an altar, an offering, and you'll learn more about that very soon. First, let me introduce who I'm joined on screen by, Reverend Carrie King. Good morning, Carrie.
Good morning, Jacquie.
And we are also joined by Terry Sturgeon for ASL interpretation. Welcome and thank you for providing this important service, Terry. Very good to do church with you. We also have behind the scenes, we have Fred Albers, who you just heard play piano for us live. That was Fred live, and we'll get to hear him with our music today. Our musical guest is Pancho Javier. He actually went to Fred's house and they recorded together, so we'll hear lots of Fred playing piano today, which I know is good for my heart and I'm sure is good for yours. We also have behind the scenes Mike Hobson, and he is running all of our tech, making all this happen to stream our service live on Facebook and on YouTube. And Carrie, tell us who's reading the Daily Word today.
Candace Volkin, one of our prayer chaplains.
Absolutely.
And we've also got Deb Philby behind the scenes.
We do.
And did we cover everybody?
No, we have Tiffany Crabtree doing our announcements for us. So we have just a wonderful community joining together to bring this service today. As always, it takes a village to create spiritual community. And so we thank you for joining us. And we know that whether you're tuning in from California or Florida or Canada or anywhere, that we are all one, that in truth, there is no distance between us. And so we are grateful for the gift of technology to help us realize this truth. Now, Carrie, I have to say, our Friday Fall Faith celebration was exceptional.
It was fabulous. It was so fun seeing everybody and being out in that beautiful park with the smoke from the fire coming up. It was very special. And did you see that sunset? Oh my goodness.
Yes. And then the moon just came out in all of her glory, swelling up to the full moon, of course, that we all know that we had on Halloween night. But Friday night, we just couldn't have ordered up better weather. And it was so wonderful to see so many of you in person. We had the Cat in the Hat. We had Tiffany, who will be on later. I loved her costume. I awarded her the unofficial winner of the costume contest, which there was no contest, but she had a unicorn. I thought she was a unicorn when I first saw her. She had a face mask on that was all glittery and sparkly with a unicorn horn, but you had to look a little closer because her shirt said blessing. She was a blessing in disguise. Yeah. And the word played in there. She said, well, I also could be an original blessing. So it was wonderful. We had witches. We had all kinds of costumes. So that was fun. And of course, we had the drumming circle, which, just gave us time to, be spiritual and to really connect and that kind of fun. So thank you so much to everyone who showed up to make that such a spectacular celebration, and especially to the staff who worked very hard to put that on. So that was a success, and we're done with Fall Faith. That was 6 weeks, just like that. Went right on by. So we are going to start a month of gratitude, and we will incorporate that today, even with our calling all ancestors. So much to be grateful for those who came before us, for those whose shoulders we stand on. So gratitude will be our theme for this month. And in unity, we honor all paths to God, all paths to truth, to illumination, to enlightenment. And we honor and affirm all people, regardless of creed, color, ability, sexual orientation, gender expression. We preach, teach, and believe. We know your wholeness. We know it. So it's not just that we affirm you as you are, but we know that just as you are in truth, whole and wholly made. So we gather each week in spiritual community to remember this, to remember who and whose we are together. So where I forget, you may remind me, and where you forget, I may remind you. And this is the power of spiritual community. So let's begin with one of our foundational affirmations. I have a few candles lit around me. This one is going to, this side. This one is going to represent the Christ candle for us today. And there's a guardian angel on that candle if you can't see it. So let's affirm together right where you are. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe. God, the source of all good.
Oh, and then unity as a worldwide organization has a wonderful vision for the world. And I know it's a vision that we all share. And as a church, Unity Church of Overland Park, we also have adopted that vision. Please affirm it with me with all the heart and truth that you can bring forward in this moment. A world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening.
Thank you. I feel the power of those words. And we also have another affirmation that we've been speaking weekly, our future space affirmation. We hold a vision of a time when we can come together again and that we can do so in a building that we call our own. So let's speak truth, let's speak vision, let's speak power into our future space affirmation. We are grateful for our new spiritual home that empowers us to fulfill our mission. And now I'd like to invite Candace on to read us the daily word.
Good morning. Today's word is remember. I bless the people whose lives have touched mine. Grandparents, parents, siblings, members of my extended family, teachers, friends, coworkers, every person I've known has, by his or her example, helped me feel more deeply what it means to be human. Some have encouraged my curiosity. Some have taught me life skills. Some have modeled positive attitudes and behaviors. Some have loved me fully and unselfishly. And some have helped me learn to love even when loving felt difficult. Today, I remember the people whose lives have touched mine. I pause to think kindly of each one as I savor memories of time we spent together. Whether we're still in one another's lives, have lost touch, or are separated by death, I know the experiences we have shared continue to enrich our lives and deeply bless us on our spiritual journeys. And from Romans 1, verse 9, I remember you always in my prayers.
Oh, boy. Let's just take a moment now to breathe in. And I just want to share with you that I did watch the movie Coco yesterday. And I would encourage all of you to watch that beautiful little movie. Some of you may feel that those sorts of movies are just cartoons for kids, but there's a deep, deep, important message in there, and it touched my heart deeply. So I invite you now to breathe in and breathe out. To breathe in and breathe out. Remember that today is a day for so many communities in which we remember those that have gone before us. For as we say, those that have gone before us are always in our hearts. And as we remember them, we know that we have stood on their shoulders, that they have opened the way for us to be who and what and where we are now. What an amazing gift. And so we know that as we go forward into this next week, having been so challenged over the many, many months, that we look back on how our ancestors, our relatives, walked through so many uncertain times also, and survived to tell the story. And we're present to take the lessons from the story of the time that they grew up. So today we have the opportunity to remember those who remembered. And we get to also take this time in as a time to practice that which we know so well. as we release all doubt and fear, as we open to love from the past, in the present, and into the future. As we know the safety and the divine care of all those who are suffering during this time, whether it be from the pandemic or the hurricanes or the fires, we hold them all in our hearts. And we especially during this special holiday put our arms around those that have been and have empowered our lives. We are so grateful. And so we say, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, God, and thank you, Reverend Carrie. There's so much to be grateful for, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you to each of you who have chosen to contribute, to continue to tribute your tithes and love offerings throughout this unprecedented time. I know that this is a practice that we engage as we practice the laws of abundance in the universe, and it can be very challenging at times. So I just want to say we appreciate you and we thank you. There is much work that we are doing. The church is open for spiritual business. We have a full staff. We have an office space, which is where I am right now. And we have activities that we have been able to do, even though we are meeting virtually for our services. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And now is the time where we bless those tithes and love offerings. So let's speak our love offering blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am joy-filled and grateful. And so please know that it is very easy to contribute to Unity Church of Overland Park. Go to our website, ucop.org, and click Make a Donation. And that will give you all the information you need. You can use Tithely, which is very safe and secure. You can even set up your own account to where you can contribute automatically, so that it will just be linked to whatever account you want it to be linked to and auto draft whenever you choose. And also you can mail checks in to our address, 535 North Merlin Road, Suite A in Olathe, Kansas, 66062. All that information is on our website and is also provided in our e-news, which you can subscribe to at our website. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We are so blessed. And now we are to receive our blessing of music by Pancho Javier, who again went to Fred's house to record this video. So you will notice that he is wearing a mask, because we of course do encourage social distancing and mask wearing as precautionary activities during this time of pandemic. So he will be singing one of the main songs from the movie Coco, Remember Me, and he will sing it both in English and in Spanish. So I believe it starts in Spanish first, but sit tight because you will hear the English words as well. Recuérdame, remember me, Pancho Javier.
Recuérdame, hoy me tengo que ir, mi amor, recuérdame. No llores, por favor, te llevo en mi corazón y cerca me tendrás. A solas yo te cantaré, soñando en regresar. Recuérdame, aunque tenga que emigrar. Recuérdame, si mi guitarra oyes llorar, ella con su triste canto te acompañará, hasta que en mis brazos estés. I have to say goodbye, remember me. Don't let it make you cry, for even if I'm far away, I hold you in my heart. I sing a secret song to you each night we are apart. Remember me, though I have to travel far, remember me. Each time you hear a sad guitar, know that I'm with you the only way that I can be, until you're in my arms again. Remember me.
Yes, thank you so much, Pancho and Fred. That was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful rendition of that song that Miguel sings. And there are different versions, right, in the movie Coco, if you were able to watch it. And it's okay. This whole talk is not going to be about Coco. So if you didn't see it, you will still know what's going on. But that is just such a beautiful song and a beautiful calling. You know, when we think of calling all ancestors, we probably hear them saying, remember me. Remember me. And isn't this what we want? I love so much that our daily word today is remember. I didn't plan that. That was, a God design thing. And we freely accept that gift that we are in alignment with the daily word. The affirmation, I bless the people whose lives have touched mine. So beautiful. So we are calling all ancestors today. If ever there were a time where we need all the help we can get, I believe that time is now, as we are turning the corner to perhaps another surge in the pandemic. And I don't speak that into truth. We are just observing what's happening. And also we have a pretty major election, probably the most important election in our lifetime this week. And wow. All of our holidays that happen every year during this time, in and of themselves, like move the pandemic to the side, move the election to the side, that just in and of itself can be a very tender time for people. So we have a lot on our plates, so to speak. And right now we have an opportunity to call our ancestors, to call them in, to give us strength, to give us wisdom, to give us guidance. And it just so happens that today and tomorrow mark this Mexican holiday, Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. So traditionally, November 1st is the day that is reserved for remembering children and infants who have crossed over to the other side. And November 2nd is the day for remembering adults who have crossed over. And what I want you to know and to really embrace right now, and I know some of you, we asked you to bring mementos or pictures of loved ones who have passed. And so hopefully you have something near you. If not, there just may be memories that you're holding in your heart and the people that you're thinking of. But this is a joyous celebration. This is a joyous festival. This is a time that is both sacred and joy-filled. And, think of Christmas. Christmas is sacred, but it is also a very joyful time. So this holiday has both elements, the piece that is sacred of calling forth our ancestors, of remembering lives that have come before us, remembering whose shoulders we stand upon. And also it is a time of festivities. And so in Mexico, people will actually go to the cemeteries and hold the parties there, and they're lit up with candles and music, mariachis playing. And it's just a good time, lots of food and drink and merriment. And so I hope that we can embody that piece and really pull in a joyful time and a joy-filled time as we take some time this morning to call our ancestors, to remember our ancestors. And so now I want to share with you this altar that Tammy and Maddie Rose and I put together last night. And to share with you, this is a major tradition, and it's called an ofrenda. And if you watched the movie Coco, you saw the ofrenda was a very important piece. And you remember the very dramatic moment when the picture falls off and the glass breaks. And the idea in the movie is that if your picture is not on the ofrenda, if you aren't remembered, then in the afterlife, you sort of wisp away into nothingness. So as long as you are remembered on the ofrenda from year to year, then you get to cross the Marigold Bridge or the Flower Bridge and make your visit to your living relatives. But if you aren't remembered, then you sort of wisp away. So the ofrenda is a very important part of this holiday, and and many families will spend the whole year preparing for an ofrenda. Some even keep at least a small part of the ofrenda up year round, and then just maybe put the full thing up. Because you could imagine if you're going to do one for your whole family, that it would be very big, much bigger than the one I have built here. And so what we have are 3 tiers. And the top tier would be where you would put the photos of your loved ones. And the middle tier would be things that they liked, or things that were theirs that actually belong to them, or things that remind you of them. And the lower tier would have food. Actually, both the lower and the second tier can have food, and also water and salt. And that's so that they can sort of cleanse themselves or purify. That's a symbolic of purification. So that if they're coming to, from the other side across the veil to celebrate, that they're able to purify themselves. Some will even put pillows or blankets so that they can rest after the long journey. So I didn't do the pillows and blankets, but I do have a teddy bear down here. So I would like to share with you what I have on this ofrenda. And just like any holiday celebration or family tradition, there are nuances that are unique to every family. And so this is my version of this ofrenda. It's not necessarily meant to represent all ofrendas everywhere. And I would say that at this point in time, there's not really a correct way or an incorrect way to do it. It's really what works for you and what represents celebration for you. So a big thank you to our board president, Pam Enlow, because she brought she brought marigolds, and she brought lots of pumpkins and gourds and cornucopia, which we'll use later, but we did use the marigolds, which you can see up here and over here. And those are very important. And you notice them in the movie Coco also, because the fragrance of marigolds is said to attract the spirits. And that because they're so sweet, such a sweet scent, that it would attract the spirits to come. So you would use maybe petals on the floor and marigolds kind of all around. And you can see even the tissue flowers that I have hanging behind me are meant to, mimic marigolds, and so that it would be enticing to bring the spirits. And then the pictures that you put up are also to help them identify, this is my family's ofrenda, this is me, sort of that mirror. And you'll see I have on this side, I have family, and on this side, I have friends. And so I'll start with my family. On the top is my grandpa Marshall and his brother, my Uncle John, both who have made their transition. And it's a picture of them when they were younger. I probably can't see it, but I can hold it closer. And they're just looking very cool, sitting on the back of the car, and probably in Stockton, California, somewhere nearby there. And they were very close, and they were both very important men in my life. And I have next to him a camera, and that's the camera that actually my grandfather gave to my mom when she graduated high school, and then my mom gave to me when I started taking photography very seriously. So it is a film camera, if you can believe that, but I love it because it is something I know he held and that he gifted to his daughter. And my grandpa was a photographer himself. He was always had a camera around his neck at every family event. And then this is a little pawn from a chess game, and it's actually from a chess game that he gave me, and it was a 3D chess game, because that's how he was. He was always, into education. He gave me my first encyclopedia set. He gave me like a photosynthesis kit and a 3D chess set when I was 8. So that is a piece from that. And then here, this is just gold. Gold coins, but it's actually chocolate. So lots of sweets, sweets, chocolates, candies are also usually all over the ofrenda, because again, it brings and entices the spirits to come. And so I will here, before I lower it, I'll lower it because there are other tiers here I want you to see. This is my stepfather, Randy, when he was in high school, and his little brother, Billy, and his dad, my Grandpa Ray. And so the 3 of them have crossed over to the other side. So I used a picture that, they were much younger, but it's a picture of the 3 of them together. And, that's the thing, is that you can choose photos of people who from the age that they were, if they were hopefully lived a long life when they were elderly, or you can choose pictures of them when they were young and, maybe vibrant. And so that's just a choice that you can make. And so I wanted the 3 of them together, and I knew I was working with limited space. So I went ahead and used that one. And then you'll see here, there's a little skeleton cat. And many of you know, our chaplains were praying for us that we lost our cat this year. So that represents Fred Word. And then, of course, you are probably very familiar with the calaveras, the skulls. And so those are also all around. You'll see the vases that Pam and actually Lona provided on either side of me. And that those, again, are also meant to entice our beloveds to come. This is candy, and these are actually 2 very real chicken tamales with green chili in them, and they're delicious. And so, of course, I know that my grandpa would love those, and my Uncle John, and my stepdad, Randy, was actually the one who would make tamales every year in our family. So I felt like that's really important to put there. Now, let me lower the camera a little bit so you can see some more good stuff. So here we have a plate of salt, and in the shell, I have some water. And so that's sort of the purification area. Let me get my eyes back in there. Okay. And then Mexican bread, and there's a nice big cookie there with sprinkles on top. And of course, you're always probably going to see some kind of representation of Guadalupe, which is the Virgin Mary, and some candles. And then here I didn't put a picture of my great-grandmother, Grandma Chuchi, but I did put some of her jewelry that I have. And this little tiny rosary, I was about 7 when she made her transition. And so I got this rosary, which actually comes in a little plastic glow-in-the-dark egg, which is over on this side. And so I still have that, of course. And there's more sweets over here on the lower level, and more flowers. Okay, so that's that side. And then we'll come to this side where I have friends. And so I shared with you last week, my friend Austin passed away. And so he's in this picture up at the top with another friend who was friends with him and many mutual friends of mine, DJ. And so they're together. And then here, this is a picture of Tammy and her stepdad, Roger. So that's Grandpa Roger. And you'll see some sweets up here and a candle. And these are little Mexican wafer cookies. The marigolds, of course, with a skull, another candle. This is a guardian angel. This is my dear friend, Reverend Lonnie Vanderslice, Unity Minister. Made her transition earlier this year. And I want to get my hair in any candles, but over here we can see this is where incense is burned. And there's also some sage back here. And just this is pretty common in any indigenous culture that you would have sage burning, and because you want to clear the space, clean the air. And there's also more sweet bread, Mexican sweet bread, and some candies there. And then I put my medicine bag. Okay, so that's the tour of this ofrenda. And you can see it's a variety of things. I have like a little hearts up here by this picture. And that's actually for my mom, on behalf of my mom, because she loves hearts and collects hearts. And, and so she, of course, was married to my stepdad. So I put that there. And, these can be built over time. We put ours together. We put this one together last night in just a couple of hours. But of course, I've been thinking about it for a long time and kind of gathering things and an idea of who I would honor. And so you might have an altar that just honors one person, or you might have it like this, where you have friends and family, and there are some like massive altars that would fill this whole room that, might have generations of people, of ancestors that are represented in them, and lots of food. And I will get to eat those tamales when we're done. So don't worry, they won't go to waste. But there's a belief that, the food that is there will become sort of a spiritual nourishment for the ancestors who come. And so that when you eat it, it actually lacks nutritional value. But I've noticed it always tastes good. So I'll go ahead and eat those tamales because they are very, very good. So this is, again, just one representation and my personal representation. Sometimes you'll see altars, ofrendas, that have lots of artwork and, all kinds of things. And it's really an opportunity. So I just invite you, whatever you brought today, to not feel like, oh, well, this wouldn't really belong there, because I've seen everything. A lot of times there's alcohol, tequila, or maybe the favorite kind of drink for whoever you're honoring. I decided that probably that would not work for this altar. And that was a personal decision I made. But so again, we have the freedom to remember and to recall and to and to set a tone for what we want to remember on the altar. So I invite you right now, if you brought something, to go ahead and share in the comments on YouTube or on Facebook of what you brought and what you're holding with you, whether it's a photo or whether it's a pair of slippers or a sweater or something that you received as a gift from a loved one, whatever you brought that has meaning. And I also invite you to type the name of the loved one who is deceased, who you're remembering. And I think that there's something to that. So when we speak the name, we remember the name. That's part of Remember Me, because that's such, part of the identity of each of us is the name. And I know for me, when I've experienced close loss, that the first few times you speak the name of that loved one, it can actually be very painful and perhaps bittersweet, because you know that, at least it feels like in that moment, that there's not a hearer of the name. And in some families, when someone departs this life, the name is not spoken because either it's too painful or, for any variety of reasons. So I think there's something to that when we speak the name of our loved ones who have passed. So calling all ancestors. So as I know that you're writing in the comments and sharing your memories, I'm just kind of giving space for that right now, and thinking of the wisdom, of the knowledge, of healing and wholeness. Because one thing that really comes to mind for me is that when we are calling our ancestors, and even in building this ofrenda, we begin to understand the eternal aspect of our souls. And we think of those who have crossed over, we know that they have released into their fullness of light, of oneness, that they have, shed the mortal coil. We have lots of turns of phrases to describe that. They have, released the shell of the body, and that feels very restrictive to us, and when we weigh that against the liberation and freedom of our soul, of our spirit. And so when we think of the freedom and the access to knowing, to knowledge, to wisdom that we receive when we are released from this physical cage, temple, body temple, whatever you want to call it, there is an expanse and a vastness that comes to our sense. And I want to, in the midst of that, acknowledge that when our loved ones were living, we had very human relationships with them, whether it was father, daughter, mother, daughter, sister, brother, whatever the relationship was. These are human relationships. And there's an opportunity here to release, to forgive, to understand at a deeper level when one party in the relationship is no longer encumbered by the human skin, by the human experience. And they're fully released into their divinity. And so that's not to say, because some of us have to do a lot of work around this, a lot of forgiveness, and a lot of really stretching to understand. But this sort of ritual of creating an ofrenda, an altar, an offering, ofrenda, the Spanish word, comes from offering. It's an offering to our departed loved ones so that they may return to us. And so, of course, in Unity, we get metaphysical about everything. So I've been thinking about this metaphysically. What does it mean to bring our ancestors to us metaphysically? And what opportunities for healing? I've worked with a few questions, and that was one of them. What opportunities for healing become available to us? Another question is, what is it that we remember? Because about each one of these people up here, I hold memories. I hold stories that they have shared with me that are painful, that include lots of hurt, lots of pain. And that, we hold alongside the joy and the love and all of those good times that we shared. And it can sometimes create this disconnect in our minds. Some people, you might notice if you go to a funeral, like maybe that person was a real jerk in real life. And everyone gets up and says all of these amazing, sweet things about this person, how they're in. It's like everyone is, some people are like, Are we talking about the same person? So I want to speak very plainly about that, because we have this human experience, right? We are spiritual beings and we are purely divine, but we are also in this life very, very human. And it's important for us to not repress, to not oppress, to not deny those human feelings. And so this building of the ofrenda can also offer that healing opportunity to really negotiate, to position ourselves and negotiate through those feelings if we are holding, because the other party in that relationship has released into the light. So they are no longer holding grudges. They are no longer holding hurts. They are no longer mired in their own pain experiences. So if we are doing that on the living side in this human form, then it sort of becomes like we are creating our own pain experience. We are perpetuating our own pain experience. So I want to invite you now that as you are remembering your departed loved ones, to really open up to an opportunity to heal and to release, to let go of anything that feels harmful to your heart, to your mind, to your body, to your soul, and to really open up to that free flow exchange of love that happens when we reach all the way within. Because we are unlimited to the extent we allow it. So I've been working with that question, what do we remember? Are we remembering the difficulties, the challenges, the pain, the suffering? Are we creating a time capsule for that? Because if we're doing that in our mind, then you have to think of it, well, if I'm building an ofrenda, an offering to this person, are those the things I would put? And if your answer, or if your thoughts or feelings become uncomfortable with that, and you're like, well, no, I wouldn't put that out there for everyone to see. It's not that I'm asking you to deny or forget, but what I'm wondering is if there's an opportunity in that for you to do some work. Because if you are the only one holding that pain and suffering, just like we talked about a few weeks ago, it becomes a pain body within you. And you're the only one suffering. The other party is free and in the light. And in some cases, that may seem very unfair. So we begin the work. What do we remember? And how do we work through those memories? How do those memories impact the state of our mind, our heart, our soul, our psyche? Those are two questions. And then the final question is, what healing opportunities are present and available to me right now? Am I still living under somebody's idea of who I am or what I should have been? Am I still living under somebody's idea of the destiny of my own life? And that person has been long gone. These are questions that become opportunities for us to really open and expand and step into our own unlimited opportunity to be all that we are created to be. So we call the ancestors forward. We call them forward that we may stand on their shoulders, that we may elevate our own consciousness into wisdom, into the infinite of which they have already released. We call them knowing that they are invested in our success by the virtue of having lived their own lives. We call the ancestors forward for wisdom, for strength, for having lived through so many situations, circumstances, events, happenings, that we may call that wisdom so that we don't repeat history. That when we step into Myrtle Fillmore's words, I am a child of God, therefore I do not inherit sickness, that we can fully embody that. That we can be released of any sense of being cursed, of inheriting the sins of our fathers. That quote from scripture that is often, put onto us as a curse. If you feel like you have a family curse, if you think of the thought of building an ofrenda an offering to your family repulses you because you feel like it would reveal some family curse, this is an opportunity for you to undo that thought and undo the things that created that thought and that belief in you. This is an opportunity for you to open to the fullness of life and love and wisdom that are available to you in each and every moment. For that is the truth of who you are. You were born an original blessing. You were born with a clean slate of opportunity to be all that you were created to be. So why wouldn't you do that? And it can be an honoring of our ancestors when we evolve, when we get a little further down that path to enlightenment than they were able to. In part, we are able to do it because society has evolved. In part, we are able to do it because we are open. We are available to new wisdom, to new thinking, to new thought, to new understanding. And this is what we call our spiritual work, our spiritual practice. So let this remembering, let this calling to the ancestors be something, an experience that is uplifting to you, that edifies you, that emboldens you, that elevates you. All of these good and positive things, and that you become willing to do the work, as painful as it may be, in your own life, to open to more love, to open to more elevation. Because it might be you that's holding yourself down. If somebody said something to you years and years and years ago, it gave you an idea of what your life should be like, and you chose to believe it, and you still are operating under that belief today, it is no longer the fault of the other person who said that to you. It is your opportunity and your responsibility to yourself to shed that. Let that go. This is why we do our burning bowl ritual every year. And I think burning bowl 2021, ending 2020, is going to be massive. I think we are ready to let go of so much that has come our way this year. And we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We want to remember. We want to call forth all of the strength and all of the assets that have been built and baked into our DNA and into our heritage and into our spiritual inheritance for us that is available to us. And so we call it forward. We remember. And we bless those whose lives have touched our own. And with the verse that was spoken with the daily word, Romans 1:19, I remember you always in my prayers. And let that be our prayer as we do the remembering, the work of remembering. We answer first, what do we remember? And second, how does that memory impact my heart, my mind, my body, my psyche? And third, what healing opportunities are available to me right here, right now? Let's take these questions into meditation. I invite you to find yourself comfortable in your chair or on your couch, in your bed, wherever you might be, in the car, at the park. With a deep breath in, feel your heart space expand and release. And again, in. We give thanks for the breath of life, which sustains us in each and every moment without our even thinking about it. And in this way, we give thanks for our ancestors sustaining us in each and every moment without even a thought of ours. We give thanks for the power of life. We give thanks for the knowing that time is not real. It is a construct in which we operate. But because we know that time is not real, we are able to heal the past, the future, the present. That when we heal in this present moment, we rewrite the past. We change the stories that are passed down generation to generation. We front load healing for those to come after us. So we give thanks that the healing we do is not just our own, that it is for all humanity. And we allow this to be the call to our own souls to step up, to step in to the healing zone, into the flow of life and light, into the knowing of the power coursing through our spiritual DNA and our physical DNA. God, the source of all good. We give thanks. We give thanks. And so we take these questions. What do we remember? How do these memories impact our soul, our body, our mind, our heart, our psyche? And what healing opportunities are now available for us into silent contemplation? For this opportunity to touch the stillness, we give thanks. For the affirmation, I am a child of God, therefore I do not inherit sickness, we give thanks. For the healing that comes in and through those words, we give thanks. For this life, for this love, for our ancestors, we give thanks. And so it is. Namaste. And that concludes our Dia de los Muertos celebration together. And I hope that you take some time today to really do some work in working with these questions and remembering your departed loved ones. Perhaps fix yourself a meal or a snack that would have been a favorite of theirs. There are many different ways: listening to music, going to a favorite park or spot of this person. Many ways to remember. And then we evaluate what those memories do for us. And if we find that there's an opportunity for forgiveness and for healing and for some work in that regard, that we step into that work. That the holding of the grudge becomes a pain in our own body in this moment, in this life, and that we have the opportunity to release that to the extent we allow. So I invite you higher. And I love you. And so let's hear a closing song by Pancho.
Ay, de mi llorona, llorona de azul celeste. Ay, de mí, llorona, llorona de azul celeste. Y aunque la vida me cueste, llorona, no dejaré de quererte, no dejaré de quererte. Me sube al pino más alto, llorona, a ver si te divisaba. Me sube al pino más alto, llorona, a ver si te divisaba. Como el pino era tierno, llorona, a verme llorar lloraba. Como el pino era tierno, llorona, a verme llorar lloraba. La pena y la que no es pena, llorona, todo es pena para mí. La pena y la que no es pena, llorona, todo es pena para mí. Ayer lloraba por verte, llorona, hoy lloro porque te vi. Ayer lloraba por verte, llorona, hoy lloro porque te vi. Llorona, llorona, llorona de azul celeste. Ay de mí, llorona, llorona, llorona de azul celeste. Y aunque la vida me cueste, llorona, no dejaré de quererte. Y aunque la vida me cueste, llorona, no dejaré de quererte. No dejaré de quererte. No dejaré de quererte. Ay, ay, ay.
Woo! Pancho, 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 thank you. And thank you, Reverend Jacquie, for bringing something a little bit different to our church community today. I think we've all learned a lot, and I know I'll be really reflecting on my ancestors, calling in their wisdom, and coming up with all of the good memories and opportunities for healing. So thank you for this beautiful message today. I'd like to extend an invitation to everybody out there watching on Facebook Live or on YouTube. We get together every Sunday after our service on Zoom, and we call it coffee time. Everybody is invited to participate. It's really just a chance to say hello, get to know everybody a little bit better. If you're here for the very first time joining us on Zoom and you just want to poke your head in and say hi or stay for the whole time, either way, it's all good. We encourage everybody to come. So just go onto Zoom and use ID number 376-922-0711. Also, the UCOP kids will be connecting on Zoom, and they will be studying the woman at the well. So that is what UCOP kids will be doing. And the Youth of Unity, the YOU group, they're changing it up a little bit from what this slide shows. They're actually going to be watching an award-winning video today called Identity. This is part of a series of videos that they'll be watching in the coming weeks. The series will include, eventually, on another Sunday, the Jim Carrey video Manifesting Millions. But the UCOP or YOU group is invited to join by Zoom as well. Also, please consider joining Reverend Jacquie, Reverend Jennifer Hutchins, Faith Rivera, and others today and tomorrow for Love Wins, creating and celebrating a space of love, peace, and positivity as we move towards Tuesday, as in Election Day.
Check out today's e-news for more information about this event and other opportunities for prayer and affirmation and staying grounded as we gear up for our coming election. And please subscribe to our weekly e-news. You can go to our website, www.ucop. You scroll all the way down to the bottom, click on subscribe, fill in a little bit of information, and then every single Friday and also on Sunday mornings, you will get what we call the e-blast. Lots of information coming your way about everything going on in this vibrant spiritual community called Unity Church of Overland Park. So please consider doing that if you have not already done so. And now stay with us just a few more minutes as we close our service with prayer, our mission statement, and a final song by Pancho.
Thank you, Tiffany. I just wanted to put a real quick plug in for those of you who would like to help us hold the high watch on Tuesday. We will be having two programs, very brief programs, one at 9 a.m. and one at 11 a.m. I and Jackie and Fred will be available at 9 o'clock on YouTube and Facebook. And we are just going to do a little pray-in, just acknowledging our unity as Americans in the world and the wonderful opportunity that we have to vote for our president. And then Jackie will be also participating in the silent unity prayer that always happens at 11 o'clock. And so, she's our special person. So if you just want to get a little centered for this day that will certainly be uncertain, but we know that God's got this. So please join us at 9 or 11 or both. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, and Carrie, I'd like to share that Daniel Namod will be joining me live at the 11 a.m. So it's a little different than we usually pre-record those 11 a.m. prayers, but Daniel will be joining us live, and he will be singing One Power. Yeah, so we'll power that up.
So, and we're going to be lighting candles.
Prayer 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. It'll be really wonderful.
So please join me in affirming the truth that we know, that the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Amen to that. And so now we will close with our mission statement, and we will have one more song by Pancho. I said final song, but there's going to be one more song, and it's a Ricky Byers song that is about blessing those who have crossed over. So it's wonderful, and it's called The Morning Chant. And I always think it should be spelled Mourning, but it's not. It's called The Morning Chant. It's beautiful. It's also uplifting. So you'll want to stay tuned for that. And of course, join us for coffee time after. And it's the Chiefs game, so I'm sure we'll keep the coffee time a little bit short so everyone has time to get, into the Chiefs game, and I'll have time to get home and eat my tamales and get home in time to watch the Chiefs have a victory over the Jets. And the Zoom number is 376-922-0711. But let's close with our mission statement. And I always like us to embody, whatever the theme is for the day, that we embody the mission statement with bringing that into mind, because it's always a new way and a new aspect to bring to our mission and the way we fulfill our mission. So think of it as we say our statement together. Unity Church of Overland Park transforms lives and empowers people to make a difference in the world. So may you make a difference in your world in the way that you remember your ancestors, the way that you call them forth, and what you call forth to empower you in your living. Namaste. We'll close with a song by Pancho. See you at coffee time.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. The Spirit of God is all that I am now. The Spirit of God is all that I am now. Don't worry about me, now I am alright. Don't Don't worry about me, now I am alright. That body I had, let it fade into the light. That body I had, let it fade into the light. 'Cause I am more than flesh, I am more than time. I am more than flesh, I am more than time. We are more than flesh, we are more than time. We are more than flesh, we are more than time. The Spirit of God is all that I am now. The Spirit of God is all that I am now. I could not do what I could not see. I could not do what I could not see. Lift up my name for what I tried to be. Lift up my name for what I tried to be. Don't worry about me, now I am alright. Don't worry about me, now I am alright. That body I had, let it fade into the light. That body I had, let it fade into the light. 'Cause I am more than flesh, I am more than time. I am more than flesh, I am more than time. We are more than flesh, we are more than time. We are more than flesh, we are more than time. The Spirit of God is all that I am now. The Spirit of God is all that I am now. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Me sube al pino más alto, llorona, a ver si te divisaba. Me sube al pino más alto, llorona, a ver si te divisaba. Como el pino era tierno, llorona, a verme llorar, lloraba. Como el pino era tierno, llorona, a verme llorar, lloraba. La pena y la que no es pena, llorona, todo es pena para mí. La pena y la que no es pena, llorona, todo es pena para mí. Ayer lloraba por verte, llorona, hoy lloro porque te vi. Ayer lloraba por verte, llorona, hoy lloro porque te vi. Llorona, llorona, llorona de azul celeste. Ay de mí, llorona, llorona, llorona de azul celeste. Y aunque la vida me cueste, llorona, no dejaré de quererte. Y aunque la vida me cueste, llorona, no dejaré de quererte. No dejaré de quererte. No dejaré de quererte. Ay, ay, ay.